said I gotta keep it kosher. In a room full of vultures. Until them angels blow the shofars. I'm a LOZ soldier, LOZ soldier. I gotta keep it kosher. Israelite mentality. We ain't war with flesh and blood, we war with principalities. These pastors be manipulating scriptures, they some Pharisees. An infidel is worse than these crackers. If you ask me, gotta keep it kosher. Israelite mentality. We ain't war with flesh and blood, we war with principalities. These
You live in Spain, what's your ethnicity? All right, so half Cuban. So on your father's side, what is he's Cuban?
Like tender.
All right, so like indigenous to Cuba or like from Spain moved to Cuba? Spanish.
Indigenous to North Spain. Yeah.
Indigenous to North Spain. All right. So
Is this black Islam?
Hebrew Israelites. That's how we like to be addressed. Hebrew Israelites, plain and simple. Right? No need to throw. No, all right. What did you think about it? How was your first encounter? What did you take away from it?
Well, there were like 30 guys all like hanging on flyers.
So what did you take away from it?
That black folks take shows horns.
Correct.
From the Bible.
Correct.
Talking about.
So what did you learn about your people? What did you learn about
They're oppressors, right?
Well, there's a lot of nations that's been oppressors, right? But specifically to the Edomites, which is where so-called white people descend from, right? The man named Edom, he had the Edomites, right? The Most High God has a specific judgment because in the earth, Europeans, as they're so-called, have done heinous crimes and have never paid for it. Reason being, who's going to make them pay for it? Nobody, really, because you guys have the world in the chokehold right now, if we're being honest. Put it like this, right?
I don't want to debate.
No, what is I'm saying? Put it like this.
But like in Haiti, they paid for it in Haiti.
You say it again?
In Haiti?
In Haiti?
They paid for it.
But this is the thing about it.
Paid for it.
If America wanted to send soldiers over there and institute martial law over in Haiti, couldn't they do it? Yeah. At the snap of the finger, right? Because the military might right now is in the hands of the so-called white men. Right? If you wanted to go to war with any country, you could just do it on a whim. Let's just say, for instance, that Russia, Ukraine, all of these European countries didn't think that they were different. Let's just say they looked and said, you know what? We all descend from a common ancestor. Let's come together. Who could challenge their military might? Surely not Asian people. Surely not us.
China's got a lot of people.
But they can't. They won't be able to challenge Russia, Ukraine, all the countries. They just wouldn't be able to, right? We understand this. They just wouldn't be able. They wouldn't be able to, right? Because the blessing that the so-called white man has received from God is to have military might. But this is the thing about it. Now that the children of Israel are coming into power, there's going to have to be a shift in the power seats, right? So my question to you is, as a so-called white man,
Yes.
are you okay with a world in which you're the servants and we're the lords? Because right now, right, you guys are the lords and we're the servants. I'm just keeping it honest. So are you okay with a world in which you're the servants and we're the lords? And it's okay, just be honest.
So it's like
Revelation 13.
like, I mean, what do you mean by serve? Like,
Meaning, when you want a car loan, when you want a loan for your house, when you want to get a job, guess what? Now the same way I have to go to an interview and put on my white voice, and now guess what? You now have to do the things that I find good. I now control the market.
Right.
We now say how this thing runs. And the way we're gonna set it to the way it's gonna be ran is by the laws of God. So let me ask you a question. Do you like pork? Do you eat pork?
I do. I try to eat less. I try to eat mostly chicken.
Do you eat any type of shellfish, shrimp, crab, lobster?
Yes.
Anything like that? Now guess what? When we're in rulership, you won't be able to do that. When we're in rulership, whatever business you have, you won't be able to have it open on the Sabbath day. If you were a god and you like men, you can't do that. we're going to rule the world with the laws of God. The thing about it is that the European man is contrary to God, because when we see the way that he rules, it doesn't align with this. So the world that he tries to create is in fact antichrist. It's in fact rooted in the synagogue of Satan, because he does everything contrary to this.
But I mean,
right?
There's a lot of Jews in Europe, and they follow very similar. I think the same.
Now, I want you to read this real quick. I'm going to edify you on that. Read that.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9.
Read.
If any man have an ear,
Uh-huh.
let him hear.
Read.
He that leadeth into
He
captivity,
that leadeth into captivity. The transatlantic slave trade happened, correct? And who was at the helm? Mostly Spaniards. Right? A lot of Portuguese, Spaniards,
I think
right?
Dutch too.
A lot of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was like the whole system.
Exactly,
Everybody
right?
was doing it.
So you have the Edomites, the so-called white people, at the helm, and who's the cargo? The black people, right? The Israelites, as we now know. Read.
he that leadeth into captivity
He that leadeth to captivity, read.
shall go into captivity.
Shall what?
Shall go into
Shall
captivity.
go into captivity, right? Read.
He that killeth with the
He
sword
that killeth with the sword, read.
must be killed with the sword.
So now let's just think of two groups real quick. The Native Americans and so-called African Americans. They were led into captivity by Edomites, so-called white people. The Native Americans were slaughtered by Edomites, so-called white people. So one they killed with the sword, and the other one they set into captivity. So now what's going to have to happen? White people are going to have to be brought into captivity by the children of Israel, because the Native Americans and the slaves that came across in the ships are the same people. They're the children of Israel. So a killing and a captivity has to be done, because that's the righteous judgment of the Lord. Like you agreed, they haven't paid for their crimes, but they will pay for their crimes by the hand of the Lord through the children of Israel. So the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, is not an all-inclusive group. Everyone's going to be there, but you're going to be in the position of a servant, along with the Chinese man, along with the East Indian man, and the ones that have been downtrodden on the earth for years are going to be the ones on top, which are the children of Israel. Right? Give me Isaiah 14 and verse 1. Now, a lot of times, the thought process goes and says, well, I didn't drive the slave boat, right? I like black people. I have black friends. I'm cool with you guys. I understand where you're coming from. But nonetheless, the word of the Most High has to happen. Because the reason we went into slavery in the first place is because the Most High said if we disobeyed his commandments, that we would go into slavery. And that happened, right? Even though I wasn't the one that committed the sins while King Ahab was ruling Israel, I still had to pay for it, because why? I'm of that nationality. I'm of those descendants. So whatever my forefathers did, I still have to pay the price. Ezekiel was a righteous man, but where was he born? In Babylon. What did he do? He didn't do anything, right? But his forefathers transgressed, and the Most High sent the Babylonians to take them into captivity. Thus, he was born into captivity and had to live his life as a servant to the Babylonians, right? Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1.
Read.
For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob,
The Most High is going to have the mercy on Jacob, which is the children of Israel. Read.
and will yet choose Israel,
Read.
and set them in their own land.
Uh-huh.
And the strangers
Right.
shall be joined with them,
It says the strangers, the non-Israelites, are going to be joined with them. Read.
and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob,
Uh-huh.
and the people shall take them,
Right.
and bring them to their place.
Uh-huh.
And the house of Israel shall possess
And
them
the house of Israel shall possess them. Read.
in the land of the Most High.
In the land of the Most High. So those fake Jews, they're not the real Jews, right? They're just white people who assumed our identity, right? So they cleaved onto us, but not in the way where it's to say, you know what? I like the way that you guys operate. I like the way that you do things in your culture. You know, we want to benefit from just observing you. No, they stole our whole identity. They fooled the world into thinking, right, that they're us. That's why nobody questions when Jewish people run everything. Because they're like, well, you're God's chosen people, you should run anything, right? But then you look at so-called black people in the hoods and they say, well, they're hoodlums. They deserve it. But we're the children of God. So they're really supposed to look at us with the pity and say, man, how the children of God have fallen. let's go and help them, right? Let's try to give them some type of aid. But no, they say we deserve it, right? Or go back to Africa. That's what they tell us. But we're not from Africa per se, right? As far as being the indigenous Africans that put the plate in their lip and rings on their neck. No.
Are you grew up here?
No, yeah, I grew up here, right? Read.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants.
For what?
For servants.
For what?
For servants.
Read.
And handmaids.
And what?
And handmaids.
Read.
And they shall take them captives.
And they shall take them captives. Read.
Whose captives they were.
Who captives they were. So since we were your forefathers captives, right? There's going to come a time where you are going to be our captives. So it may not be you, but it's going to be your children, right? And that's a righteous judgment because guess what? My forefathers were your forefathers captives, right? So it's only fair that your children are my children's captives. That's fair, right?
I don't know who my forefathers were in the equation. You know, I think they were like farmers in the north of Spain.
Well,
and they fled in the Civil
the
War.
way, like I said, the way the Most High deals with, well, I probably didn't say it, but the way the Most High deals with judgment, right, is through the nation itself, right? So even though Ezekiel didn't commit any transgressions, nonetheless, he still had to deal with the transgressions of his father, right? So even though probably your specific forefather didn't have a hand in it, his nation of people did. So now everybody has to pay. Because every Israelite wasn't disobeying the Most High God, but yet the whole nation went into captivity, right? Probably not by every means as of slave trade, but guess what? They were kicked out of their land into foreign countries and had to be in a servitude position. So understanding that the kingdom of God is a time where the Israelites are in rulership, ruling with the laws of God, and everybody else is in a servitude. So the same way how America has laws, and if you break them, there's a judgment, which is jail, a fine, right? It's the same way. In the kingdom of heaven, if you break one of our laws, guess what? It's a judgment. Some of them for death, some of them just for imprisonment, some of them maybe just for a fine, but nonetheless, we're going to be the ones calling the shots. So now, you're not going to be able to make up a screw face at a so-called black man. Now you're going to reverence him as your Lord, as your outer one, as your power, as the one who rules over you. And you would agree that that's fair, right? Because we had to do it. Imagine when our forefathers got up and they were sick and they couldn't pick any cotton and they got shot right there dead in the street. Somebody has to pay for that. What's his name? Peter. Somebody got to pay for that, Peter, right? And they didn't. But the Lord isn't going to let them get away with it. So if you're a righteous man, if you're a just man, you accept that judgment because you know what? It's fair. Our forefathers had to suffer. Now guess what? Your kids are going to have to suffer. And that's just how it goes. All right? So bringing that out is to kind of let you understand when you see black people, when you see Native American people, when you see Hispanic people, change your mindset about them and understand that these are the people who are going to be ruling the world one day. Thus saith the Lord. Let me treat them with a little bit more respect. Let me not have this preconceived notion that they're good for nothing people, right? Now I understand. Some of us might not be, right? The same way anybody could not be a good person. But the preconceived notion that a lot of these nations, the Japanese, the whites, have about our people, it ain't fair, bro, right? It's not fair.
I think things are getting better.
Right.
But I hope you don't feel too judged by like everybody. I don't think the social conscience is that negative towards black people.
Well, now let me show you something. Give me Ezekiel 35. Now this is the thing about it. Hope is a powerful drug, right? Now, we have hope in the scriptures, but the reason why we have hope in the scriptures is because this is the word of the Most High. I can't really have hope in what your people say because I know at the drop of a hat, they can take back everything they said, right? And stab me in the back. I've seen them do it to the Native Americans. I've seen them do it to my forefathers, and I still see it today. Now, if something hasn't changed for thousands of years, what hope should I have that it will? Not only that, but once again, I said we have hope in the scriptures because these are the Most High's words and they're true. Let me show you what the Most High tells me concerning the hatred between the so-called white man and the so-called black man. Read.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5.
Read.
Because thou hast had a perpetual
He's
hatred.
speaking to the Edomites. He says, because the Edomites have had a perpetual hatred. What does the word perpetual mean?
Constant.
Constant, right? Read.
And has shed the blood of the children of Israel.
Uh-huh.
By the force of the sword.
By what?
By the force of the sword.
So even since biblical time, the Edomites have hated the children of Israel and have sought after their blood at every turn. Read.
In the time of their calamity.
Uh-huh.
In the time that their iniquity had an end.
Read.
Therefore, as I live,
Uh-huh.
saith the Lord God,
Right?
I will prepare thee unto
He
blood,
said, I will prepare you unto blood, children of Edom. Read.
and blood shall pursue thee.
And blood is going to pursue you. Read.
God. If thou hast not hated blood,
Uh-huh.
even blood shall pursue thee.
So it says, since you didn't have any remorse, killing the Native Americans, slaughtering us, cutting off our reproductive organs, right? Feeding our babies to alligators, shooting us down in the street like a dog, poisoning our neighborhoods with these convenience stores, right? And all these environmental factors. Because you didn't have no remorse when you did that, read.
Even blood shall pursue thee.
Even blood is going to pursue you. So now guess what? You're going to have to reap what you sow. The Most High is going to be the one to turn that table. So I know you said, I think it's getting better, but if we think about it, even from a biblical time, the Most High let us know there will always be a perpetual hatred. Because if you know the history of Esau and Jacob, they were twin brothers and they were fighting in the womb. So before they even got on this earth physically, right, out of the womb, they were already fighting. And we're now fighting to today. Because a lot of nations don't like black people.
Like playful fighting.
No. No, this. We read it. Remember, I wouldn't have to explain it, right? I can't say it's playful fighting after just reading that, right? It says
Like it was a bad idea back then, so I feel like it'd be a bad idea to do it again. Either way, like
But
either direction.
But the way the Most High goes about judgment is, guess what? It's done gone on so long and it's so prevalent that when it happens, nobody can say, well, that wasn't deserving. It was deserving, right? It was deserving. Because guess what? O.J. Simpson just died, right?
Yeah.
When he died, guess what? Everybody's white people, oh, that's good for him. Because even though he was acquitted in his trial, they believed he was guilty. So when he actually died, guess what they said? Good for him, because they felt that that was the proper judgment. Because what? A black man killed a so-called white woman. So now, that's the same way we feel, right? It's a righteous thing that the people who burned us alive in tar pits, who used to spit at us while we walked down the street, something got to give. It's only fair, right? It's only fair, right? Give me a Sirach 12 and 10. So although you might see things getting so-called better, the scriptures let us know this right here. And it's imperative that we hold to this, because this is the words of the Most High. If my Heavenly Father is coming and telling me something about my enemy, it would do me good to listen to him, right? Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10.
Read.
Never trust thine enemy.
It says what?
Never trust thine enemy.
It says never trust thine enemy. Read.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
So just like iron turns to rust, eventually the white man shows his color, and guess what? He stabs you in the back. Eventually. Because that's just the relationship that they have with us. Now, you might be walking the street, you might not be knowing what's going on, but those elites of elites, that's their plan, right? Give me Psalms 83, that's their plan. You might not, you're none the wiser, of course, because they have to have smoke and mirrors. So guess what? We don't have to let Peter know what's really going on, because Peter's going to walk the street, he's going to seem harmless all night. But in the back of their minds, there's an agenda. And let me show you what that agenda is, right? So that you can be aware. When you see certain things done towards us, you don't think it's just like this. You don't think, oh man, the world is messed up. Now you understand, no, this isn't by mistake. This is a calculated move by our enemy. Read.
The book of Psalm, chapter 83 and verse 1.
Read.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Uh-huh.
Hold not thy peace and be not still,
Right.
O Most High.
Read.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Right.
And they that hate thee
Uh-huh.
have lifted up their head.
Read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Right. They have taken crafty counsel against the children of Israel. Read.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Come and do what?
Let us cut them off from being a nation.
Right? Let us cut them off from being a nation. How do you do that? Take away our language, take away our customs, take away our unity amongst ourselves. So all of these things that we've seen happen, they were strategic moves to make us stop being a nation. Because then I would see myself as so-called Jamaican or African American, because I was born here, but my parents are from Jamaica. He would see himself as Jamaican. He would see himself as from being from the Virgin Islands. He would see himself from being from Haiti. So now it's a division, because the Haitian man don't move the same way as the Jamaican man, don't move the same way as the African American man. But nonetheless, we're all the same people. So now they cut us off from being a nation, and we believe that our culture is rooted in what our oppressors gave us. Because now we don't see the similarities. But standing up right here, you couldn't tell the difference. We all got our beards, we all got our fringes on, we all speaking the same thing. Now you see us unity. Why? Because we now know that we're all Israelites. So the game was to separate us, but the Most High brought us back with this. So I can't exclude the part that he tells me about my enemy. I have to keep that in my mind, because me not thinking that or going against that is detrimental to me. Right? Read.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right?
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Read.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The who?
The tabernacles of Edom.
The so-called white man. Read.
And the Ishmaelites.
Right. The so-called Arabs. Read.
Of Moab.
The so-called Chinese man. Read.
And the Hagarenes.
Read.
Gabal. And Ammon.
The so-called Japanese. Read.
And Amalek.
And who?
And Amalek.
And Amalek, the so-called Jews. Right? They have tried to impersonate us so bad that they essentially have to create a facade that there's no way that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans should be the children of God. I mean, look at them. They have nothing. And these are supposed to be the children of God. So now they've taken everything and heaped everything unto themselves so that they can create the facade that, look at how blessed we are.
Right.
But now we understand the truth. And all we have to do is allow the Most High to fight that fight. Because like I said, the military might, if you do something to a Jewish person, you might as well go put your handcuffs on yourself and walk in the jail, right? They're the most protected people on earth. But now, as all these dark secrets of the world are starting to come out, who runs Hollywood? Oh, so-called Jewish people. But it's all this darkness. Who runs the music industry? Oh, so-called Jewish people. But it's all this darkness going on, right? These people claim to be the children of God, yet everything that we see that they produce is rooted in wickedness. Something's not right. Is your wealth truly coming from the Most High's blessing, or are you getting it through lies and deceit? Well, I think that question has been answered, right? So who has to be in the seat of power to truly execute the judgments of God?
Stay strong, I'm a warrior. 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 Stay strong, I'm a warrior.